Hello, everyone. So we're live, and we're going to talk about databases today. My name is Niklas Wortmann. I'm developer advocate here at JetBrains. With me, my colleague, Maxime. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hello, my name is Maxime, and I'm leading the data group team. And today I'm going just to showcase what data group is about and how you can work with databases from any IntelliJ IDE, data group included.
So, funny story, you probably picked the worst advocate for this webinar because I literally just barely got through my database course in university. So I'm kind of excited about this because I'm pretty sure I'm going to learn something, but don't expect high quality questions from me.
But I think it's the best in the opposite because you will learn a lot of new stuff as an advocate for JetBrains, right?
That's a good perspective. I like that. I like that even more. All right, before we get to it, let's go through some of the organizational stuff because it's always asked. This thing is live, so you can ask questions. I will try my best to, with my limited database knowledge, to pick the right spots where it makes sense. If I don't get to your questions, I'll make sure to cover them at a dedicated Q&A part at the end as well. So I'll do my best to manage that, but please put your questions in the chat. That makes this whole interaction more lively. The other thing is, because it's always asked, this thing is recorded. This is the internet. The internet knowingly does not forget. So if you have to have a meeting in between or something, feel free to go to the JetBrains for Data channel afterwards and watch the video there again, or the rest of the recording. It will be available right after this session. And for the people that listened very attentively may have noticed what I said in between, because this whole thing is streamed to our new JetBrains for Data channel. So I do the obligatory YouTube stuff. Please like and subscribe, follow, do the whole YouTube shebang. This is kind of our new spot where we want to share knowledge about databases, but also data science and our machine learning stuff and those kind of things. So if that's your jam, make sure to subscribe. And that are all the important pieces that I had to say before the thing. So with that, I would give it to you, Maxime.
Okay, great. So I'll just I will just showcase what data group is about, what you can do, various tips and tricks, and how this can empower the work with the database. So this is how data group looks like. Yeah, actually, one important disclaimer: we have a thing called database plugin in all the IntelliJ-based IDEs. So whether you're using IntelliJ Ultimate, PyCharm Pro, RubyMine, Rust Rover, or all the other IDE, you will have the same functionality I'm showing you. You will have it in your own IDE. So there is literally zero difference between data group and database plugin in all the other IDEs. So if you are just a user of IntelliJ-based IDE, the commercial version, just use the database integration, which I'm going to talk about today. But what I'm showing is just the data group, the separate IDE for databases. Yeah, maybe the one tiny difference is in data group, the database explorer is on the left, and in your beloved normal programming IDE, the database explorer is on the right. Maybe that's the only difference. Yeah, so we have database explorer here on the left, and here you have a lots of databases you connect to. Actually, we support a lot of them. Maybe all the major databases you know about are supported in data group, but you can also check the basic support place. Here you have even more connectors, and there is a quite huge difference between what we call basic support and what we call like the complete support, and I'll talk a bit on this topic. So if we support the database, this actually means two major things. The first, that we support the dialect of this database, which means that when you use the precise dialect of this database, let's say Postgres or MySQL, we will highlight your queries in a proper way. We know about all the constructions. We created our own lexers and parsers to highlight SQL and to actually find different errors, potential mistakes, and stuff like that. So this is, full IDE experience JetBrains is famous for. If the database is supported completely, officially, as we call it like this, in other words, it's in this list, you will have it. For basic support, we don't have the special highlighter, so all the SQL you are going to use will be highlighted with the help of SQL 2016 standard, which is okay for major cases, but still you have to know about this. And the second major difference is that for complete support databases, we do the process called introspection. This is very, very important process, and this defines data group actually. Introspection is the process of retrieving metadata from databases. So when you connect to a database, we retrieve the metadata from it with the help of internal queries which DataGroup run. Which means that actually we will know about all the objects, or about all the names of these objects, about all the relations, and even about the source code of these objects. So we take this information, store it locally, and then we use this information for coding assistant, code completion, navigation, and again, all the ID bells and whistles you can imagine. For basic support databases, we don't have the introspection created by our own. We rely on what JDBC gives us. So that is the process called JDBC introspection, or we get the metadata with the help of JDBC driver. So what JDBC driver gives to us, we know about it. Nothing else. That's it. Yeah, that's the major difference. So my demo, I usually showcase a demo on with the help of Postgres, MySQL, and SQL Server. But basically, everything I'm going to show you is available for all the officially supported databases. So, okay, let's take a look on Database Explorer. Here you connect your databases, and as you can see, you can put them into different folders. So for example, if you want to put your Postgres databases to different folders, you can select them, press F6, press new folder, and type something, Postgres, SQL, whatever, data sources, right? And now they're in this particular folder. You can even create a subfolders, something like a new folder, demo, okay, FFF, they're over here. So now you have subfolders. Again, this helps you to organize your data sources in a proper way, so you will distinguish actually the context between them. A couple of things to know here. Also, that you can always, and in all the JetBrains tree view lists, what you can do, you can just start typing, and we will actually filter the objects for you. So again, if you need just to quickly search for the objects, just start typing here, it's going to work. Important thing here, that this works only if the node is open. So if everything is closed, this is not going to work. So if you want to properly search for the objects in a database, there is another mechanism for that, and I'll cover it a little bit later. But yeah, this is just a quick way of filtering your objects. Another very important stuff here, that we, by default, we don't display all the schemas and data sources, all the schemas and databases here. By clicking here, you can see which particular databases and schemas are chosen for displaying, and which is more important, for introspection. In data source properties, where you actually connect your data source, there is a schemas tab when you do the same thing. Again, just select with what schemas and databases you're going to work, and only them will be displayed in the database tree. This is cool not only because of the usability, so you don't have all the schemas, and sometimes people have thousands of schemas, but it's also important for performance, because we will introspect only these schemas which you already chosen. By the way, introspection is the process which can be slow, as you can understand, because if you have a very big database, a very complicated schema, all these queries can run long. Our recent update for DataGroup lets you to define the level for introspection. So if you choose the low level, it means that the introspection will be really fast, but we will not know about some details about your database. For example, like source codes. If you choose second level, we will introspect everything except the source codes, and level 3 is the full introspection level. We advise you to use after select, which actually means that we ourselves define, is your database big or small enough to select the level for the introspection. So here you can see these icons, and they actually display which particular level is applied for this particular schema. This is a pretty new feature. If you are experienced user of DataGroup and you struggled from the performance problems with the introspection, please try the new version and share your feedback with us. Now the introspection levels are supported for Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, and PostgreSQL. So basically all the majors. But we have plans to expand this feature for other databases as well. Okay, this was Database Explorer. One last thing, you can always check this icon, and we have many options on how you want to display your data or your schema, if you want to see the comments, if you want to see the schema refresh tree, and many other things. Okay, let's go to write our first query, which is actually the really important thing. So to write the query, you need to right click on the schema, go to new, and create new query console. So query console is actually the temporary file where you create your queries. Let's create the first query. we encourage people to use so-called live templates, code snippets, which are pre-built in the IDE and makes your work a little bit more fast. So if I want to just create a simple select, what I do, I just type SEL, I press tab, I choose the table, and I'm done. My query is done. I run it and I get the result. Everything works. So these templates are actually pre-built in the IDE, and you can always go to settings and type something like live templates. And yeah, it's over here. And in SQL section, you can see that we have lots of templates. So the blue ones are actually templates which I created by my own. So you can create templates for your repetitive tasks. So for example, I don't know, this C cache does 2 simple queries which drops the cache in SQL Server. All the SQL Server users know that sometimes if everything is frozen, you can run these 2 queries and you'll be good to go. So for example, CL is a very standard template which I use a lot, but as you can see, I customize it a little bit. So my caret is placed after the wildcard, after I invoke it. If I will just place it over here, which I actually like a little bit more, it means that if I invoke this live template, my caret is placed just here under the table. So as you can see here, we have a lot of variables over here, so you can play with them in a way you like. This is the where select template, which is a little bit more complicated. Again, you can disguise the limit. If you catch yourself that you are pasting or using very similar queries, always just create a live template for this query. It will save you time, really. So okay, this is the first query. I run it and I get the results over here in the services pane. I will cover it a little bit more. Let's go further. So we provide the full line completion for joins. There is zero AI involved in this. This happens thanks to the introspection. Again, introspection is the process which retrieves metadata, as I already told you. It means that DataGrip knows about the connections, about the foreign keys relations inside your database, and that's why DataGrip thinks that, yeah, if you want to join some table, maybe it's something with the foreign key relations. Great, this is something I'm happy with. Another join. If I type another join, great. So my join query is created in 3 seconds, and hopefully it works, and it works. So yeah, coding assistant and precisely intelligence, as we call it, code completion, quite a powerful feature inside our IDEs. We don't, and again, this is very important, it works offline. So we don't connect to a database to provide the code completion. We know about all the objects already, and that's why it's pretty fast. So if I just type where, okay, I can do something like this, and we already know that, yeah, maybe there's a column, maybe something like that. Oh no, I don't want to use my own name. To selfish, okay, no, something's wrong. James, something is wrong with my query. Okay, maybe we'll fix it with AI because I have no idea. Okay. Because it was actor ID. Thank you, AI. Yeah, now it works. Yeah, it actually was my fault because actor ID cannot be James, so let it put the first name over here. By the way, what you can do, you can always use abbreviations. Abbreviations is my favorite feature. If you want just to, complete the first name, FN is something you need to type. And FN goes for first name. And now I think, oh, it's a cloud completion by AI. Actually, I will turn it off. I will put more light on it a little bit later. So let's go to tools, AI, no, code completion. Yes, every time you search for settings, yes, Jan?
Now, while you were faster with the search than I expected, but there was one question in the chat that I wanted to squeeze in here real quick.
Yeah.
There's sometimes red and green arrows that appear in the autocomplete. Do you have any insights on that, what that is about? Because I also saw this for the first time just now.
Yeah. Let me just turn on the cloud completion for MySQL. Where is that? General code completion. No, it's not here. I don't remember where is that.
Yeah, I saw it literally earlier, but
I think should be fine. Yeah. So actually, you maybe meant this, right? Something like this. So now you meant this?
Can you show the autocomplete pop-up again? I think that's...
okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, there it has the green and red arrows on the very left side.
Yeah, I think it's quite a recent feature. I think it just shows you how it moves within the list based on the prioritization. So it means that, yeah, actor is now, it thinks that it's more important because maybe I can qualify the column, and that's why it thinks that maybe I want to qualify my column as well, and it's topped up in the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first name where first name equals James. Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah, abbreviations, and you can use abbreviations also for keywords. So, for example, you can type ORB, it will order by. AI goes for actor ID. It's a very rare use of AI abbreviation. So, again, something is wrong. Actor ID is ambiguous, right? I can qualify it. What I usually do with errors, I use Alt Enter shortcut. This is also a very important shortcut in JetBrains IDE. If you want to change something, if you want to have a quick refactoring or something like this, always try Alt Enter. So here I need to qualify my actor ID column with something. I press Alt Enter, choose qualify identifier. It offers me to choose the table or maybe the alias. Okay, I choose the alias. Now I run the query. I'm done. Great. What what Alt Enter also can do? It can, for example, expand the column list, and you will have all the columns expanded from the wildcard. As you can see, we have lots of columns, and they were expanded with respect to joins. So all the columns from all the clauses were expanded. And in the needed places where there is ambiguity, we placed the needed qualifications. And in other columns, when there is no ambiguity, we didn't place them. You can go to settings and play again with the setting. And if you want to qualify always everything, that's also possible, but that's actually the default settings behavior. And yeah, by the way, if I delete this qualification here, data group immediately will highlight me this column in yellow and say, hey, there's ambiguity, so something is going to be wrong. So data group always tries to highlight your potential not syntactical errors, which is a little bit more easier, but also semantical errors in your queries, which is a little bit more harder. So we are not 100% sure, definitely always, but we do our best to highlight all the semantical queries. Again, I can qualify identifier with something. Great. If you want to qualify all the other columns or several of them, you can just select them, press Alt Enter, qualify, and all of them will be qualified. What's next? We can, with the help of Alt Enter, we can do some refactorings. I can go here and say convert to subquery. Alias. Now my query is converted to subquery. If I want to convert subquery to the common table expression, that's also possible. Again, Alt Enter. I have another intention. Extract subquery as common table expression. Alias 1, whatever. And now, as you can see, my subquery is refactored to the common table expression. So all these types of things are possible. Just check what Alt Enter actually gives to you. I will go back in time a little bit and show another types of refactorings, which is quite popular if you want to rename just a local thing like the alias. What you can do, you can place your caret to the F alias, press Shift F6, which is rename shortcut in all the JetBrains IDE, and just type new name, and you will see that it will be renamed just here in place through the entire query. So you don't need to do it manually. If you want to rename the alias, just give it a go. If you want to introduce the alias, that's also possible. With the Alt Enter shortcut, as you can see, in my query, there is no alias for actor table, and that's why all the usages of actor table are highlighted here when I place the caret, but there is no alias, right? You can press Alt Enter and say, hey, introduce table alias, type alias, and as you can see, all the table references were replaced with the aliases, which is great. Okay, let's make this query a little bit more neat and create another query, which will be quite similar. So with something like that, maybe actor ID less than 89, and here I will need the order by. And now I have two queries, right? Basically, if you have several queries in your scripts in traditional way, you need to select the query and run it, and it's possible. You can do this in JetBrains IDE. But since we analyze the script and we know the structure of your script, this gives us a small benefit. You don't need to select the query to run it. You just put the caret over here, press Command Enter, and data automatically understands that, hey, you might be willing to run this particular query, or maybe you want to run the whole script. So you have a chooser. If I choose the first query is run. If I choose in the same situation the whole script, two queries are run, and I have two result sets within two tabs. If I want to customize this behavior, that's also possible. So here I have a button called Customize. I'm navigating the settings, query execution, and here you have 3 execute actions, which actually can have just different behavior and different shortcuts. So in my particular case, I have another shortcut, Shift Command Enter for execute to action, and I ask in this particular situation, I want that this execute action number 2 will execute just a smaller statement. There is no chooser, nothing, so no ask to execute, just a smaller statement. In real life, it works like this. So I want to run this query. I just put the caret, I just use the shortcut, great, this query is run. I want to run that query. This query is run. So again, even no chooser. You can play with the settings and create the layout of the actions, which you actually like. Okay, if you, again, as I showed you, if you have 2 queries, you get 2 tabs over here, more or less clear. What you can do, you can type a comment. For example, result2 over here, and this will be my result1. Great. What does it mean? It means that if you run 2 queries in that case, that commands, they became the name of your tabs. So you can easily navigate and you can easily define which particular query refers to which particular tab. Sometimes you need to compare 2 very similar queries, which is actually my case. I just want for result1 to have a distinct something. Okay, now I have 2 result sets, and why I have only 1 row? Because I have first name equal James. So let's make a little bit less strict query. Yes, it's a little bit less strict. So if you want to compare 2 result sets, the obvious solution here is to use this button, compare. So on every result set, or basically on any grid, data grid pops up, you can choose to compare data, press this button and say, okay, I want to compare result 2 with result 1, and you will see this comparator window, which will actually show which particular rows are mutual between these 2 results. So that's the easy way to compare them. Or you can always do it visually, definitely. And the feature we promote for that case is in editor result mode. If you turn on the in editor result mode, it will display the result just inside the editor, just under the query, kind of a notebookish mode. If I will hide all the other windows, it'll be a little bit more, modern data analysis type of UI. And yeah, you can work in that layout also. But I don't like it for my general work, and I use just a classical one. Yes, of course.
The compare is really nice. If I knew about that, I would have used that before. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe that's our fault that you don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a very tiny button, but as a JetBrains worker, you might know that there's a big trade-off we are facing: the power and the
Yes.
usability and advertisement, and it's always a very hard thing to deal with.
Yep.
Okay, so this was running queries and getting the results. Let's speak about navigation a little bit. So, very important thing that we always try to resolve the objects inside your queries, which actually means if I do something like this, immediately this column will be highlighted as red. And data group will say, unable to resolve. I don't know what it is. You don't have this column in your database. In this particular table, there is nothing like this. But if everything is resolved, it means that data group understands the objects you are using. And it brings several benefits. First of all, you can always put your mouse for this particular object and see the hover about what is the type of this column, what is the source of this column, and stuff like that. So just quick info on what you're working with. With the table, it also works. You can see quickly the DDL of the table, and even you can see the table preview if you want to quickly understand what data is inside. Second, you can always navigate to the Database Explorer for this particular place. The shortcut is Alt-Shift-B. So if I press it on the last update column, I'm quickly navigated over here. We have also a button over here which does exactly the same thing. So for example, film category, I press the button. Yes, I see this table in this particular data explorer. Another navigation action is go to DDL. If you want to see the DDL of the object in the separate editor, not in the pop-up window, you press Command B, which is the same as the go-to declaration for normal programming languages. So you put your caret over here, Command B, you are navigated to, let's say, declaration. This is the DDL, and it works with everything. With the column, it navigates you to the DDL of that table, but with that particular column highlighted. And the third navigation action is go to data. So if you want to actually see the data of any objects, and if this object contains data, obviously, you can press F4, which is, I think, jump to source shortcut from the normal ID, something like this. So yeah, this is the actor table, right? I press F4 and I'm navigated to the data editor. If I want to do the same with film category, I press F4, I'm navigated to the film category table. The same thing happens if you just double click on a table here. So again, you don't need to create the select top something, which is kind of a general flow in many other tools, but you can do this. You can go to SQL scripts and say select first and rows from a table, click, you will have this generated, do something like this, run it and see the table. Yes, that's the possible thing. But if you just want to observe the data, double click on a table, you're good to go. Here's your tab with your data. I will close all other tabs. Yeah, it's just out of my scenario, but very important. If you close the tab and you have no idea how to bring it back, for example, I want to go back to my query console, which is already saved, I can always use the Command E recent files shortcut and I can find what I need. So if you close something in DataGrip, don't worry, you just closed it, you never lost it. So I can reopen anything. Okay, so this is my data editor, the component to not only view but edit data. But let's start with what it can do from a view perspective. First of all, you can order your data. Super easy peasy. Everybody knows that you can order. Couple of things to understand here, that by default, the ordering happens on the client side. So again, each time I click here, there's no new query created. It just happens on the client side within the page of data we are displaying. If I go here and say, hey, sort via order by, obviously, it means that now ordering works in a little bit more true way, but with a new query. So if I click on it, every time, as you can see by the progress bar, every time we create a new query, we run it. You can even ensure it here in view query. Yes, there is new query actually, which we run. You can see that order by over here. So yes, as you understand, this is the server sorting. And yes, we have this order by field on the right side, and you can even, modify it. You can do something like this. Great. And as you can see, automatically we have 1 and 2 numbers over here on the columns. If I turn it off, it means the sorting will be a client sorting. But again, as I told you, this happens within one page, and you can manage actually how much data you displaying here. You manage it here. So for example, if you choose the page size 10, it means that every time you retrieve the data, you will see only 10 rows, and all the client operations will respect only these 10 rows. By default, I think by default we have 500 rows displayed. You can always play with this. You can always display all rows if you are absolutely convenient about the size of your table. So do it on your own risk, as they say. So let's make it 100. That's it. Another operation which also have 2 types, client and server, is filtering. So, and there are several types of filtering in DataGrip. First of all, you can filter by local filter over here, and as you can understand, it's local. So again, it works on the client side. You can choose which particular names. In my case, okay, let's just type James. I have only one James. Okay, maybe Kelly. No, maybe, I don't know, Bob. Okay, only one Bob, whatever. I just tick and I see that, yes, my data is filtered. But you can also have a server filtering. To do that, you can right click, filter by, first name is at, and yes, we just created a new query. As you can see, there's a where clause over here. It's just a part of the query we run, and yeah, we see all the 3 ads. We can always type here directly, do something like this. Great, new query is run, and it's the data is pop up. My favorite part of filtering is just a text search. For example, if I want to find all the Jameses, I just press Command F. Okay, it's pop up with a value under the focus, but I can just type James and that's it. As you can see, as I type, it always filters according to what I type. Why I like this feature? First of all, I don't care about where my data is. Even if I know, I just don't want to think about it. I want to find all the Jameses, right? I just type James. That's it. I want to find all the people with last name Barry. I just type Barry. Great. I'm good to go. So again, this works perfectly, especially if you have a not long, but wide result set with a lot of columns. Just don't think about it. Sometimes you don't know. But what is the limitation? Definitely local operations. So you need to have your data pop up to work with this feature. Okay. Yes.
I have a couple questions to sneak in here.
Of course.
So first one, can DataGrip show sizes of tables like, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I would assume
Yeah, like dbeaver. Yeah. I think we can show it only for MySQL, and I think you can do something like this. I don't remember. Yeah, we can show sizes for MySQL databases, and I think that maybe that was the only database. I don't remember the reason, but for MySQL it is really important. But for other databases it's not as important, as far as I remember. Oh no, for Postgres we also show it. So yes, basically you need to go here to Quick Doc, press F1 if you want to populate this Quick Doc, and run show table preview, and it will show you the size of the table over here.
Cool. Is there a way to save the filters and reuse them?
What you mean, this one? Actually, I think the short answer is no, because I don't know about this mechanism. There's no open mechanism for saving filters. So let's just test. So if I just, do something like this, and I think it was already discussed. I close the table. Great. I reopen it. No, the filter is gone. Yeah, we don't save it. And I remember that we were discussing if we need actually to save it or not, because it brings its own pros and cons. But yeah, the short answer now, there is no possibility.
But that's a good point. If you have like an interesting scenario where this would help your workflow particular, I would assume a U-track ticket is the best way to address that feedback.
Yeah, right? Definitely. And I even think we have one, but I don't actually remember. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Okay. Cool.
But if you just need to, you have your filter, which is a little bit more complicated, then you can press here, enable local filter, so you can always see all the data and toggle it with the help of the button or the toolbar. Yeah, it's not the same actually, but maybe this will help in your particular scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
One last question, and then you.
Of course.
One last question, and then you can keep going. Because I don't want to go too far away. When we talked about the comparison view earlier, is there also a way to compare it with static data like CSV file or something like that?
Yeah. Exactly. I thought any grid, the data grid pops up. So I will even show you. So I want to find a CSV file. I will go here. This is something I really wanted to cover a little bit later, finding the files, but whatever. So CSV, I have this to CSV, what it is about. Oh, it's even parsed in the wrong way. Let me find another one. CSV. The result of comparison will be just very bad, because definitely it has nothing to do, but I will just show the mechanism. So here I have a compare feature. This is my CSV, right? And as you can see, I even have all these two results. I have even the actor table, so I can compare this CSV to result one. This will be a bullshit, right? But you understand that it's possible. So again, you just open any grid, you have the compare feature, and all the other grids are presented in that pop-up list.
I would even just use that to compare to CSV files. That's
definitely you can compare to CSV files. Again, for us, it doesn't really matter. For us, it's just grid.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's go further to the data editor component. And yeah, as we told, you can edit data here. So you can go here and just type a new value, and we even have, the completion based on the previous values in this particular table. And you can even select several fields, do something like this. You can even copy. No, I don't want to do this. If basically, that was my mistake. If I want to retrieve my change, that's possible. I will select just these changes, go to revert. Yeah, and that's my changes are reverted. But I wanted to show now this. I want to show that you can copy and paste data, and that's also possible. You can even copy your external CSV and paste here. And as you can see, all these changes are local. They are not in my database. I can press preview. Yeah, a little bit ugly size of the window. And you will see that all the update statements which are generated based on my changes in the UI. So if I'm happy with them, I can press submit. Now I'm not happy with them, especially with several Jameses. So I will revert this. And let's say this is something I want to do. I want to submit. I can press preview and submit, or immediately just submit. If I submit, then my changes are in my database. Yeah, they are reordered because they had another IDs now. But yeah, you can always choose a manual transaction mode, which means that there is also a transaction created in your database. So you will have to submit, because submit is our operation, and also commit, but I'm usually fine with the automatic mode. What else? We have navigation by foreign keys. Again, this is, Cuba, Oliver, whatever. If I want to see the relation table for this ID, I click here. I see that there's a film actor table. I see a lot of films with this actor number 15. I can go here, again, press here, and yeah, I know that this actor is played in Empire Malkovich. I have no idea what's that. So again, we have navigation by foreign keys, and you can navigate if you have foreign keys relations. If you don't have foreign key relations, that's actually also possible to deal with that. We have the feature called virtual foreign keys. That's a little bit complicated. Do I have this virtual foreign key? Yeah, you can create a foreign key and you can connect your columns virtually, which will actually means that this connection will just store it inside data group, and then you can use all this navigation and even diagrams for this virtual foreign keys. Again, this is the feature for those who don't have the proper relations, but they don't want to have benefits on the ID level. So that's also possible. What's next? Refresh, more or less clear. Here you can do automatic refresh. You can ask data group to automatically refresh your data editor for you. This is the navigation to DDL and back, more or less clear. This is the chart. So we have the small chart functionality. For my particular case, it doesn't make much sense. Let's go to views, sales by film category view. Okay, in this particular case, it has a little bit more sense. So you can just build some kind of a simple charts. You can play with settings and do the pie charts and then export them. Again, this is not extremely powerful, but if you want to quickly have something like this, you can use it. We have also a side pane over here. I will go to actor table. Back. We have a side pane over here on the right side, which has three tabs. First tab is the tab which shows you one single record. Again, it helps you a lot where you have a very wide table. It's not my case, but anyway. So when you just put the caret, you will see one single table in a little bit more friendly layout. I can think that you can have this layout or just single column layout, whatever. And it's also an editor. I think you can do something like this. Yes, submit, and that's it. So if you want to edit from this interface, that's also possible. Value editor, again, even worst case, I just have a very small values, but that's the editor which helps you to see a lot of text if you have a lot of text, and even if you have JSON or XML values over here, they'll be properly formatted and highlighted in that place. And aggregates is the panel where you can see different aggregate values. So for example, I will select several numbers. Again, this is IDs, not super cool example, but again, I can see the count, I can see the maximum value, I can see the median value, I can see the minimum value, number of rows, and stuff like that. The cool thing about that this is actually customizable. So you can go to scripts directory and see that these aggregates are just scripts. So you can create your own aggregate and put it over here and have it. So again, if you find yourself counting some very complicated aggregates, maybe you better create a Groovy script. Yes, it can be a little bit complicated, but with the AI era, you can even ask ChatGPT to do that. As you can see, we even tested, this is super internal, we even tested the AI for help to generate this. And the substring, this was the aggregate which was generated by AI for me. So by default, you will not find this aggregate in data group, but I was just testing it, and it actually works. I create two, I select two values, and sorry, what does it say? Longest substring E. Yeah, because of the zoom, not super cool layout. Here also no common substring 0 and Penelope. Yeah, common substring E, whatever. So you can, again, the major idea is that you can create your own aggregate, put any kind of logic over there, put it over here in the folder, and you will have it over here. And one single aggregate is always displayed on the bottom. You can select which one. In my case, it's sum. So even if this pane is closed, you select several numbers, and yeah, you can quickly see any aggregate, but just one inside this bottom panel. Yeah, that was the right pane for the data editor. And another very cool and very powerful feature, also customizable, also about scripts, is extractors. So here we have a lot of extractors. Extractors is the way or the format how you export your data. What's the simplest case for export? Creating a file. So for example, CSV, I choose it over here. I say export data. I see the window. So there will be a CSV file with this preview. This is very clear and every tool has it. But you can export your data in many other ways: CSV, HTML, JSON, and stuff like that. When you play with the exports, usually you can just copy data. You don't need to create a separate file. So if I, for example, have CSV extractor over here, I select my data, I press copy. What do I have in my clipboard? Let's create a Scratch file, just a plain text. This is what I have in my clipboard. So I copy my data in the CSV format. If I choose JSON, I copy. Let's create a Scratch file with JSON highlighting. Why not? Yeah, this is the JSON generated from the data I copied. A couple of extractors I personally like. Pretty. It means that if I copy my data, what do I have in my clipboard is this. So if I just quickly need to send a chunk of data to my colleague, I use pretty extractor. Copy, paste, I'm done. I don't need to export it to a file. And I also like where clause extractor. Where clause extractor creates the where clause for another query. I will show you how it works with the help of query. It is a little bit brighter. So for example, I have a query which has some logic. I have no idea. Maybe this, maybe that. Again, it will be just very easy. Something like this. Okay, great. I want just to have actor ID. And I want to have a distinct. So for some reason, I have several actor IDs. I just select all of them, use where extractor, plus press copy, and what do I have in my clipboard is this. So I can then use it in another query, like, I don't know, select from film actor where actor ID is in this. Okay, I'm good to go. And even if you have several values like something like that, and you use the where extractor is smart enough to create the combination of and or clauses, so you will also have the proper where clause to use in another query. And all these extractors, not all, but for example, scripted extractors are also extractors which are scripts. So you can go to scripts directory. I will open this window. Extractors, and you can see, yeah, these are just scripts. So again, if you want to have some very, cunning and unusual format, you can create your own format with the help of extractor, put it in that particular folder. Automatically, it will appear in that list, and you are good to go to use it. And again, with the AI, it's sometimes possible. I can ask AI assistant to create my new extractor with the help of example. Actually, the funny thing that we even created a feature where AI creates extractor for you, but we didn't release it because of what? Because to create a proper extractor, you need to have several iterations. So you need to run the extractor from the AI and check if it actually works. And we thought that running a code without a permission is not a best idea. And that was the only reason why we didn't release it. But actually, it worked.
It could be a cool thing for Juni where it asks you like, hey, do you want to execute this? And this way you can double check. But yeah,
maybe, yeah, but you always need to inspect and say, hey, execute it. Hey, execute it. I don't know. Maybe
that's true.
Actually, in real life, if you ask AI to do extractor, it will not create something, potentially dangerous. But that was the reason why we didn't release it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Real quick, while we're at the screen, you had earlier a shortcut that you used to put the cursor in the where input box. I think it was Command F.
No, Command F is a local text search. Is completely the other thing. For where clause extractor, actually, I don't think we have any.
There's none.
Filter, I don't think we have any, unfortunately. So maybe that's a good feature request again, but only with the help of the mouse or something like this. Yes, I don't think we have any.
Okay, thank you.
Escape, no, escape, no, it doesn't work.
Nope.
Okay, here you can transpose tables again for result set with a lot of columns. Sometimes can be useful, and you can actually see your result sets or tables in different way in tree mode. That's the zoom. I think there's the zoom artifacts actually, and in a text mode. And text mode actually uses the extractor. So if you want to see your table in JSON, you can just use the JSON extractor, and it will show you the JSON in a text mode if you use it from this place. Okay, that was data editing component. Let's go further to search and navigation. Maybe if you use another JetBrains IDE, you know that if you double shift, you will go to the search panel where there are a lot of tabs. All tab, which combines everything, and some specific tabs. So let's go to specific tabs, which let's take a look at it. Database is the tab where you search for database objects. This is very easy. So if I want to find film actor table, I can just type film actor, and I have lots of them in very similar databases. What I can do, I can go here and say, hey, I want to take a look in just Postgres data sources. Okay, a little bit better. I press enter and navigate it to that particular table. So database tab is that proper way to search for database objects I mentioned in the beginning of our stream. Files, already used it to search for CSV file. You can search for files over here. Yeah, that's a little bit, that's maybe a difference between general IDs and data group, because in data group you do have a project, but project is not a set of files. Project is a set of your data sources, and we do have a files tool window over here, and here you can just attach files or attach folders. Attach means open or whatever, so you can go here and say attach directory to project, and if you have a local directory with your local SQL files or whatever, you can attach it here, and this will be indexed like in IntelliJ or whatever, and you will see all these files over here. And if you want to search inside this scope of attached directories files, you go here to files and you search for it. So if I want to find a CSV file, which I already did, I just type CSV, okay, something like this, and I'm navigated to this CSV file. Code, here the tab we called code. It's a little bit similar to symbols in all the other IDs, but for us we call it code. So it searches for references of database objects inside files. So again, if I type something like actor, I don't know, I press enter, I see that this is the reference of actor table, the create statement for that table. SQL Direct is not configured. Use Amazon Redshift. Okay, maybe it's Amazon Redshift. I have no idea. Yes, it's Amazon Redshift. So always when you open this SQL file and there is no dialect set for it, we do our best to detect it automatically. So again, with the code, you search for code references inside your files. Actions I'll cover a little bit later, and text is just a tab where you search the text inside the file, any kind of a text, whatever. I don't know, create table. You will see all the create table statements inside your files. And actions is the only tab which has nothing to do with the project, is the tab where you search for actions or comments or anything you can do within the ID, but you don't remember UI for it and you don't know if it's actually possible. For example, I use it always for reformat my code. So for example, if I do, okay, let me create another query, do some bad stuff on it, do something like this. If I want to reformat my code, yes, there's a shortcut. I don't remember it. I go to find action and I type reformat my code. Great, I press enter. My code is reformatted. If you want to configure the code style, yes, go to the code style and it's over here, and play with tons of settings for SQL code style. I'm not going to do that. We hope that you will implement what you need. And always restart the IDE. Also, I don't remember the shortcut, and I think there is no even shortcut. I always use find action to restart my IDE. So again, the main idea is if you want to find something within the IDE, use find action. And the quick tip for Mac users, you can always do help, and you can always type over here, which is, I think, the great feature, and you will see that there is a menu search in the Mac OS. I like it a lot. It has nothing to do with JetBrains. It's just a cool thing for Mac OS users. Okay, so that was a search. And
real quick on the search. An IntelliJ user reported that he doesn't find the database tab in the.
Yes. The thing is that we removed it from all the other IDs because I don't remember. I think product managers asked it to do it for IntelliJ. There is an option to give it back. I don't have that. We have in DataGrip. It's database tab. I'm pretty sure we don't have it in DataGrip because it has nothing to do with us. But the thing is, there is an option to turn it on. Just type database tab in settings, and I'm pretty sure you will have the ability to turn it on back.
Yeah, thank you.
Files. Yeah, I already mentioned that you can attach files, and each file is actually just as a query console is the file where you can run your queries from. So you just double click on a file. I don't want to have a create statements. Maybe we have something. Okay, file one. Okay, whatever. I have the statements over here. And it says it's not configured. But let's take it to Postgres. Okay, I can choose then the data source. and then I can choose the schema, and I'm good to go. It doesn't really work, or maybe it is. Yes. So again, for each particular file, you can attach the data source to this file, select the proper schema, and work with it like you work with any query console. And that's the main reason why you actually need to have the files pane. But it's a small file explorer. You can attach any kind of folders and see all the local files you want to have them. Couple of last things, maybe. I think we will be wrapping up. Just IntelliJ platform features which saves you from losing your work. Local history. Every time you type in a file, that's not a good example. Let's go to our query console. Every time you type something, we store it in the local history, so you will be able to go back in time and recreate your Genius query. We also store the clipboard history. Every time you copy something, it's stored in the clipboard history. Command-Shift-V is a shortcut to see it. We do have the query history. So every time you run the query, we actually store it in the query history. And yes, search definitely works here. And also we have the SQL.
What is the shortcut for the query history? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I always don't remember. It's Alt Command E. Great. I use mouse actually for it. So
Oh,
I
I
don't remember
see.
the shortcut. Yeah, but you can always check it out. And we also have the show SQL login finder. You'll be able just to see all the queries which were run from data group, both internal and external. So they're all over here in this particular file.
That's very cool.
Yeah, AI, definitely. Yeah, I forgot to mention it. We try to integrate AI to AI assistant from JetBrains. You can always open it over here. Here's the chat, more or less clear. You can chat with your GPT models. A couple of interesting things that data group provides you the ability to attach the schema. So you can go here and say, hey, my schema will be a context for my chat. So I can go here, guest, public. Now it's attached. And now I can say, hey, I don't know what tables. I never tried it, but I hope it works. What tables have integer columns? And it will say that, yes, okay, these tables which have integer columns. How does it know? Because it knows about the schema and use it as a context. Also, you can definitely use AI within your SQL editor to create or to modify the AI. So to create, you can use this and say, what films are comedies and have 3 actors? I don't know. Press enter, and it will also knowing the schema, and that's why it will use the proper objects, will generate the SQL for you. So I'm good to go, accept all. I have no idea if it works, but let's try. Okay, maybe it works, just the names of the films, but we hope so. And you can also modify your SQL with the help of AI. You can select something and say, okay, not 3 actors. I never did it, so, but 5. Please correct. I don't know if it works. Sending requests. Let's see if it's going to do something. Generating patches. Okay, great. Works. So again, you can modify your existing SQL or create your new SQL with the AI. And again, as I showed you before, it can even fix the errors, which I actually did. But let's do it again. And now I will do the error which I want to do, join something like this, join something like that, and maybe, maybe let's create top 10. This is the not valid Postgres syntax. Doesn't work. Fix with AI. Sending request to JetBrains AI. Yeah, great. Seems like it worked out. Yes, so again, you can fix your errors with AI Assistant also. Now we're working on the AI agent, which will help you to connect to your database with the help of AI. So you will just describe what you need, and we hope the agent will help you. Yeah, I think that's basically it. I will be happy to answer questions if there are any.
I have plenty of questions. One thing that I like to highlight, I like the ER diagram that you generate for the tables.
Yeah, I forgot to show it.
Once.
Yeah, great. I forgot to show it. Just forgot. Diagrams show diagram. Yes, you will always be able to see all the relations between your tables and explore them.
Yeah, it's super helpful, or at least it's been very helpful for me. Couple of questions. Okay, I'll just start at the top. They're very out of order now, but are there any plans for Azure Cosmos DB support?
Actually, I don't remember. I will just check our UTrack issue because it will maybe help a little bit more details on that. We actually stopped supporting new databases for a while because we realized that maybe it doesn't bring us so many new users. Yes, we do have a ticket and it's quite popular. I think it has 85 votes in UTrack. So voting and commenting on UTrack is the best way to have your new databases supported. So please do that.
Cool. Very brief questions, but can we use JetBrains IDEs online? I'm not aware of any way for that. It's not really our jam.
Yeah, the short answer is unfortunately not.
Yeah. If I paste 100 to 200 lines of SQL script into the console in DataGrip, the UI freezes for an indefinite amount of time. Any comments?
200 lines is nearly nothing, so it shouldn't be frozen definitely. We need to explore the thread dumps. So this is definitely something which is not okay, and we are able to fix it. So please, Max, please create the support ticket or UTrack issue, and we're gonna help in that case. So yeah, sometimes DataGrip can stuck if you paste thousands, but 200 lines is nothing. So this is something we need just to fix.
I know in our IDEs, for instance, we convert Java code to Kotlin. If you're in a Kotlin file, are we doing something like that, or?
Not really.
I cannot see.
Just
I cannot see anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. In Oracle query results, it is possible to don't have the hours in the field for the timestamp part, but in the date column, it's kind of displayed weird.
Okay,
is that a known issue?
Something I don't remember. Let's just check if the data format helps us a lot. So we have data presentation. We have custom date formats. So maybe this is the setting you need to play with.
Fancy. I think that covers the next question, or another question that I saw as well. Is it possible to change the date input format? I work in Italy, and well, pretty much everyone in Europe uses DD, MM, YYY, but it expects YYY, MM.
Yeah, I think that's the answer.
Yes, sounds like
maybe it's about the output more, but yeah, I think that is the answer also for that particular question.
Perfect. Is it possible to use in-memory databases like DuckDB or similar?
Yeah, we do have some connectors for in-memory databases, and for DuckDB we have, I think, just a general connector. It's over here. So yeah, the answer is it's possible.
Possible might be basic support, but yes.
Yeah. For DuckDB, yes, but for H2, which I think is also in memory, we have complete support.
Oh, cool. Oh, I've used H2 before. Yeah, I should. I could have known that theoretically. Is there a way to extend the cell renderer?
That's a very good question. We talk about it sometimes, and now no. And now it's not possible. And we cannot say it's our roadmap, but it's in our backlog definitely. So again, commenting and voting the UTrack issue is the good way to go. So now there is no custom renderer, and we are thinking about it because definitely it will solve a lot of different issues with displaying. Yeah. We upgrade the cell renderer. Definitely, recently we added the ability to render the UEAT fields. But yeah, there is no customization still. But that's a very good point. Maybe at some point we need to add it.
Yeah. Long story short, please upvote the ticket. That would be the best form of input for us to share or express interest in features like that. Because without being too involved in the project, it sounds like a shit ton of work and effort. So we want to make sure that this is something that people really need. Can I write a query in the query console and save it to the file? You showed that it automatically logs it in a file, but is there a way to dedicatedly export it?
Yes, the answer will be a little bit extended. First of all, yes, this is the query console. You can always go File, Save As, and save your query console as a file. And actually, query console is already a file, but it's stored internally. But now we are working on removing query console, so everything will be a file. So your scripts will be supposed to be written in kind of a files within the project. So the whole flow about consoles and files will be changed, I think, in 2025.3. We're working on that. But for now, yeah, you can just press Save As and it will definitely work.
Cool. I think those were all the questions. If there were a couple in between that got answered by other people, so if I missed your particular question, please put it in the chat again. But I think at least the question that I bookmarked, we went through. Do you have any super secret hidden feature you want to demonstrate in the last 2 minutes?
Super secret, maybe yes, DDL data source. Actually, you can create a data source from your files. So, for example, you have the schema creation files, and you can just visualize these files in the Database Explorer. So what I did actually, so for example, now I have the DDL data source, but if I double click on a table, I only see the DDL, and I can see in my files that these are just files. So I create my DDL data source based on the set of these files. This can be helpful in several ways. When you want to compare your schemas between each other, for example, you can compare this DBO, which is virtual DDL data source, with your real. Where do I have my real SQL server? Do I have it actually? Yes, here, DBO with this DBO. Tools, compare. Where do I have compare structure? Force continue, and you will see what's the difference between them. And actually, you can compare any two schemas with the ability to migrate from one point to the other. But again, with the DDL data source, you can do a lot of tricks. You can have a code completion even without database, and you can actually just visualize your DDL files and see what's the structures between them. So yeah, that's kind of a powerful feature for advanced users. But yeah, it's over here.
That is a really cool feature, particularly if you're, as you said, like run migrations or stuff to double check that it actually worked the way you expected. Super cool.
Yeah,
love it. There was one new question that came up in between about the console file changes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So yes, console is already filed, definitely. What will be the change? First, there will be no word console at all. We will just maybe use another term, stuff like that, and your new files will be not stored somewhere inside DataGrip, which is the case now. So to see the consoles, you need to go to Squarespace and console, database consoles, and see them over here. But in fact, this is the path, something random. We will just create these files inside the projects in the very precise location. You will be able to see them in the Database Explorer, so you will be able to navigate quickly to the scripts you are creating. Yeah, and that's it. And there will be no term console, because the thing is that people are a little bit struggling with understanding what it is, and we have lots of feedback about that. So we try to simplify the whole thing.
Console is definitely a very loaded term and means different things to different people.
Yeah, exactly. Because just a small piece of history. Previously, you would create only one console per data source, and there was not ability to create another one, because this is the console, this is terminal, this is where you write queries. But then we understood that of course you want to have several scripts, and that is the only reason why it's called console, and it really confuses a lot of people. So we will not break the flow. I think if you work with DataGrip, everything should be kind of smooth. We just want to migrate your consoles from random, unexplorable path to the very clear path inside your project, and you will be able to find them and to manage them.
No, sounds like a very nice change from a usability perspective. Do you guys do EAPs too for DataGrip so that people could play with that in an early version?
Cool. Yeah, definitely. And especially for this feature, this is very important change. We'll do our best to release it as early as possible and to get as much feedback as possible.
Cool. Love it. Okay, there's one more question about this. That the console needs to be attached to a connection. How's that with a file concept? And it's probably kind of early still in implementation, so
No. I know the answers for all these questions because
okay.
we were working on that recently. So as you can see, the files are attached. Also can be attached. For the console, it will just something default. So if you will create your new script file, as we don't know the naming yet, it will be by default attached to your data source. And the thing is that you will be able to reattach your files, which is already a thing for files, but not for consoles. And also, this is something users want us to do this. So now you cannot reattach the console because it's nailed. But the interface will be something like this. So now you have a file. Now you have the schema, the context, and stuff like that. So basically, nothing will really change. We will just unify files and consoles.
Cool. I think we covered a lot. Thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot. I also saw a couple messages in the chat saying that they learned a lot. I think we do have 2 more slides to go through, just for like the official part, and hide this comment. If you want more information about this, check out our JetBrains for Data website. I don't think we have a blog on there yet, but I'm sure we'll work on that. And also another promo for the JetBrains for Data YouTube channel, where this video will be right afterwards. So check that out. And if you want to annoy Maxime about all the database questions or just bother him, send him plenty of messages on Twitter. I'm sure he will love that. Because Twitter is such a great platform.
Better use DataGrip Twitter rather than my personal.
Yeah, or Utrecht. I'm literally just joking. If you want to follow Maxime for insights and stuff, Twitter is a good place. If you need help, Twitter is a terrible place for this. Don't go to Twitter for help. And that is the last slide I have. Thank you so much for joining us. This was great. Thank you, Maxime, for doing this. Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for hosting. Thank you. Bye.
Anytime.